In this latest update, the nap blocker tool has been enhanced, and I think it's some great additions. It's now working kind of similar to what the auto lace background was. So if we select a design here and we come up and we click on nap control, because that's also changed the name a little bit there. If we click on it, the auto nap blocker dialog shows up now. Instead of just creating it, now you get the opportunity to add some settings here. So we can do an offset by a certain amount. We can base it off of the outlines or the stitches. So meaning that it will now work with designs that weren't digitized in the software that don't have any outlines to them. It can actually create the nap blocking stitches even though it's not a true WAF file. So that's kind of a nice feature. So you can bring in whatever design you want and utilize this tool with it now. And you can add a finishing run to the outside of it, and that's also a pretty nice little feature too. So if we just come in here, we can change it, but I'll just keep it with this default setting and hit OK, and you'll see that it creates the nap stitches. It still places it in the right order, which is good. You'll see that it has the nap blocking stitches, and then right after it is a run stitch that goes around the edge, and that is available if you click that option. So let me go ahead and select those and delete that, and we'll come back up here and we'll click on it again. And if I uncheck the add finishing run, you'll notice that it doesn't show up here. So that's where that is coming into play, if you will. So let me go ahead and select this again, and we'll come up to the auto nap blocker tool, and you can change, like I said, the offset. I can make it a little bit larger if I wanted, like 3.5 millimeters, and that'll be the distance from the design here. And if I hit OK, I'll do this finishing run as well. You'll notice that it's now a little bit bigger, and so it just gives you 3.5 millimeters as opposed to 2.5. So you can play with that now. Before it kind of just did a default amount, so that's kind of a nice little feature that you can choose how much of a distance you want, and you definitely want to have a little bit of distance because you want to make sure the stitches don't fall into the nap of any of the fabrics, and you don't want the nap of the fabric to come over the top and hide the stitches. So that's the point of having it kind of offset. And 2.5 is the default amount. Let me go to undo here, and 2.5 works great, but like I said, if you want a little bit more or less, you can adjust it right here in this offset, and you can turn on or off the finishing run. And like I said, you can use it with any design now, because it'll work with designs that have stitches instead of outlines. So that's a nice little feature too. And just to kind of show you that, if I come in here and let me go to my library, and we'll go to this latest year, February 2021, and if I bring this design in, you can see that there's stitches in it. So what that means is it's not a true WAF file. It means it was digitized in a different system at some point, and then it was the outlines were created when it was brought in. But you can see that even though it has those stitches, I can still come up here, click on this, and I can base it off of the stitches themselves and hit OK, and it's going to create that. Before, you weren't able to do that. So that's a nice little addition. So that is the auto nap blocker tool. I do love the fact that you have the ability to change those settings. So that's a great addition to the software.